Now on to some sport, and we're continuing the big ITV News Central countdown to the biggest British boxing match in post-war history. Carl the Cobra Froch is again up against challenger George Groves in front of an 80,000-strong crowd at Wembley on Saturday night.
Well, in a moment we'll hear from those close to Carl's camp, his family and friends, but first our sports correspondent Steve Clamp reports from today's press conference between the two at Wembley.
The first time George Groves and Carl Froch met at Wembley Stadium, there was quite a bit of disrespect between the two. Groves constantly in Carl's ear, and then of course Carl did give George Groves that shove. Today's press conference, today's meeting, would it be the same? Would there be fireworks? Well, actually, it was surprisingly civilised. No pushing, just confident predictions. Oh, and a few yawns from Carl. And then of course Groves, well, he's telling us it'll be a knockout.
We've been working on left hooks. We know the left hook will work, and it'll be the left hook that finishes Carl Froch on Saturday night.
I was just saying to Rob, I better pick that right hand up and get it up by my chin.
It was fairly calm today. It was not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, there was no drama. I thought that he maybe bring a few tricks or try something to try and antagonise me or wind me up, but I think he's been so unsuccessful in trying to wind me up on the whole build-up. I think he's given it up now.
No Rubik's Cube, the greater respect. Is that a sign that you're less confident this time?
Oh, of course not, no. I'm always supremely confident. We're here now, we're here. I've had as perfect camp as possible. We're performing in the gym, and now it's time to perform on fight night.
Boom! So both fighters supremely confident that they can be victorious here at Wembley Stadium. George Groves is just finishing off the last of his interviews behind me. Carl Froch has already left the building, and Froch certainly in very good shape in the build-up to this. We've seen what a superb boxer he is. But what about Carl away from the ring? Well, we asked Shaun, Davy, one of Froch's friends, to find out a little bit more for us about Carl Froch, the man.
Carl Froch, to most, he's a boxing hero, someone who opponents fear and crowds, well, most of them love. This is the Phoenix Boxing Gym in Nottingham. This is where it all started for Carl. Well, that's not where we met. We both had two properties in Nottingham, but mine leaked into Carl's. Not a great way to start a friendship, but it's lasted all these years. We soon realised we had a common love of boxing and fitness. I began helping him improve his cardio fitness levels, and we've been friends ever since. Let's go for it, let's go for it. This is the Hill of Death. Me and Carl have done a lot of training on this hill. You can't really see the gradient of it at the moment, but trust me, it is really, really steep. But enough of the boxing and the training. Let's see what Carl is really like outside of the ring. And I tell you, there's plenty of people that know more than I do.
We met up in London, where I lived at the time, and we hit it off. We hit it off straight away.
Rachael Cordingley is Carl's partner and mum of their children, Rachael and Natalia. Everybody knows Carl as a boxing star. What's he really like?
Well, to me, he's just, you know, he's my partner, and he's the father to our two beautiful kids. So he's a gentleman, and he's kind, and he's loving, and I think sometimes people don't really see that.
Of course, long before Rachael was on the scene, Carl was just a young lad growing up in Carlton, Nottingham. His mum has some tales to tell.
He went down to the boxing at the Phoenix Boxing Club way too early. I think he was about 9 years old, and he couldn't enlist or sign up until he was 11. But he kept going down and watching the other boys training and boxing. He'd put the gloves on. So from 9, he was determined to be a boxer.
When I first met Carl, I got to know the family, and I learned that Carl was doing boxing, and I couldn't believe how good he was. And I turned around to Carl and Carl's dad one day. I says, "I don't think you realise how good he is." In the back of the kitchen, and he's done what he's done. What he's achieved today.
And what about his brothers? Carl is one of 3. They are still close now.
Back then, you didn't have the technology what kids have got today. So we used to think, well, we've been to the gym, let's brush up on our skills. So we just literally get the cushions off the settees. Yeah. We'd have pillar fights. We'd have some really good scraps as kids growing up.
People ask us that question, because, what's it like having Carl Froch as your brother, and are you starstruck? And I say, it's Carl, it's just Carl to me. It's, I suppose growing up with it and how he's accomplished what he's done, he's just sort of You don't know, you get used to it, don't you, in a way? You sort of get used to it.
When I met Carl, he was a young, highly rated boxer who was only really known in boxing circles and in the local area. Since then, success, fame and fortune have all come his way, but he's kept the same friends and maintained close to his family.
Some years back, about 8 or 9 years ago, we went to LA for Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
And took some photographs, and it's like 3 chumps or something like that. So he's not happy with that. I think it's quite a good one. That was his
Miami Vice job.
Miami Vice. Yeah, we were. It was quite a team back in the day, really. That was our attire that we wore. But I suppose to get us off the hook a bit, it was about 10 years ago. So
yeah,
fashions have changed since then, and
that was a lot.
That was the look.
Adam Fukes has been Carl's best friend since childhood.
He was always the kid in the gym that he would try and skive a bit. You know what I mean? If he was doing the press-ups, he'd find an area just to sort of duck out of the way and hide. If he was doing the runs, he would run but just sort of take his time. But then he had this natural ability, no matter how hard you worked, when it came to the fighting, he could just beat you. He just had it, and you think, I'm doing more push-ups, I'm running further than you, or I'm trying harder. But he could just do it, and he could just beat you up, basically. So that was it. So I took many a beating from the age of 12. I was glad to see the back of him really when he left and went to Newark.
When Carl's not training, one thing he loves is food, especially Italian, and this is one of his favourite haunts. Carl's grown into this major superstar now. What's it like when he comes to your restaurant?
To be fair, he's normal. You know, comes in, acts as normal. You know, it hasn't really gone to his head really. He's normal as anything. He comes 2 to 3 times a week. You know, has his pasta and his coffee, especially his coffee. He loves it. And then when he goes to the cheesecake counter, he loves it.
I obviously love it when he wins, and I'm so proud of him. And I sit there and can sit front row and just be so proud to know him and to watch him.
As a guy, is the best friend you could have or associate you could have, to be there for what you need in somebody, to cover all the bits where you need somebody.
I always say, just do what you can do that you know you can do, be the best that you can be, and believe in yourself, be confident, and I'll be there waiting and watching.
I respect him, and what a brilliant world champion this country's had, if not one of the best of all time. I love him to bits.
As you can see, this is why Carl's a very popular guy. I just want to say, from me to you, Carl, it's been a privilege being your friend, and I just want to wish you all the very best for May the 31st. I know you can do it. Come on, Carl.
Fantastic. Yes, the excitement is mounting. The big day fast approaching as well. We'll have the final part of our build-up on the programme tomorrow. Steve Clamp will be ringside at Wembley, and we'll hear the thoughts from other boxers on who'll have the edge over 12 rounds. We'll also catch up with the Cobra's trainer, Rob McCracken. All mouth-watering stuff ahead of the fight, which is, of course, as we say, on Saturday night.
Not long now.
Not long now.
It's time for sport now. This week, it's all about events in the boxing ring.
Colin is out and about to tell us more.
Yes, because it's just over 48 hours now until Carl Froch puts his world titles on the line in what is Britain's biggest fight in decades. We're here at this buzzing club because this is the Phoenix in Carlton. This is where Carl Froch spent 90% of his time learning how to be a fighter, becoming a world champion. So we're going to be talking to one of the men responsible and some of the young fighters he inspired a bit later on in the sport. But first, today, Froch and challenger George Groves went head-to-head at the Wembley press call, and Angela was there.
So the champion and the challenger came face-to-face today here at Wembley Stadium for a fight that is rewriting the boxing history books.
Plenty of verbal sparring between the two, Groves claiming he'll knock Froch out with a left hook. This the response.
I better pick that right hand up and get it up by my chin.
The tension was tangible. Little wonder with so much at stake.
Empty now. 80,000 will be here on Saturday night for the fight Froch says is the biggest of his career so far. In the run-up, we've been given exclusive access to the man and the people he says have made him.
He is a world champion fighter, but a family man at heart.
At the weekends, I try and get away from boxing, away from the gym, turn my mind off from fighting and training and sweating and bleeding and suffering and try and just relax. But the one thing I can't do this close to the fight is eat. It's my daughter's first birthday today. She's 1, and there's a nice Minnie Mouse cake in the back I've seen, and some lovely muffins.
Ahead of the biggest fight of his career, he invited us home for one of the biggest events in his family's life.
I've got my own family. I've got my beautiful girlfriend Rachael, hopefully be my wife one day. I'm not going to propose to her on BBC Local News. Every single professional fight, my mum's been there, and she's played a big part in my success, and she means everything to me. They're not there for the bandwagon and the glory, they're there for the rough times. You know, 4 operations, knee op, 2 hand ops, injuries, and, you know, through the tears and the bad times as well as the good times.
The rematch against George Groves will earn him enough to set him up for life, but his rewards have been hard won.
If I could go back and do it all again, I probably wouldn't, and I mean that. It's been so hard, yeah. You know, people don't understand the sacrifices you make and the years I've put into this sport and what I've had to do. Honestly, I mean that. If I could go back and do it again, I'd be like, shall I do that, or shall I just, you know, I'll stick with the office job.
Instead, it's been a life inside the ring, tough on him and the family.
Every time I go and watch him, I can't wait until that bell rings at the end. And I know it's finished, and I know he's okay. I go and speak to him, I give him a hug and a kiss, and I just think, oh, it's finished now, and I've not got to worry until the next fight.
Boxing's a selfish sport, it's an individual sport, and when I'm fighting, it's all just me, me, me. I'm not really concerned about anybody else. And if I get too wrapped up in the emotion of it and what my family and friends are going through, I won't be able to do what I do.
What he does has won him an army of fans, and he's not ready to hang up the gloves just yet.
I don't want to turn my back on it. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still loving it, and I can still do it even at the ripe old age of 36. I'm still physically able to get out of bed, put my socks on. I can still put my socks on, okay. When you can't put your socks on, that's when you've got to turn it in.
For now, though, settling scores against George Groves his focus, and his loved ones will be with him every step of the way.
All the family support that I know is with me all the time, it's all adds up to one product, which is me doing the business. And I'm proud of myself, giving myself a pat on the back, but I couldn't have done it on my own, that's for sure.
Froch says he is fighting for his legacy. Interest in this rematch has reached an epic scale. 7,000 could be at tomorrow's weigh-in, and of course we will be there too.
Unbelievable, the excitement. So back to the event everyone's talking about at the moment. Carl Froch against George Groves at Wembley Stadium this weekend. 80,000 people will be there, and this is really where it started for him. Del McPhilbin, you're responsible for the Phoenix Boxing Club. You're in charge here of the training.
I am.
How proud are you of what Carl's done from here?
Extremely proud. It's one of the best things that could have happened to Nottingham and this club as well.
Could you all see it? Did you always know as he came through?
I don't think you can ever say that, but there were signs of he'd got power and he'd got good footwork and very, very strong, quick reactions.
Let's move on to Gordon very quickly. You had to make matches all the way through. You watched him come through. How important was this place in steering his career, do you think?
Oh, very important. He started here very young and then came back and he won all his ABA titles from this gym. And he's done very well. He supports the lads here and everything now.
There must be real belief here that he can go and do this on Saturday.
Oh, yes, he'll do it this time. He'll not make the same mistakes as before.
Well, we're sure he won't. Let's talk to some of the young boxers. Let's talk to some of the people who are coming through now. Alexandra, are you going to be watching on Saturday?
Definitely.
Yeah, what are you hoping for from it?
I hope he's going to win.
Well, that's hopeful as well. Saskia, how inspiring is it, do you think, to have...
Very inspiring, because you know he's a fantastic boxer, so it gives us something to aim for, so we can, so if we're as good as him in the future, so it's very inspiring.
I'm going to finish off with Ethan down here. Ethan, are you next?
I don't know, but I'll try to be.
OK, well, good luck. I mean, there's so much activity here. You must be so pleased, just very briefly, with everything that's going on around here.
Oh, it's absolutely, it's brilliant. It's buzzing. And as you can see, they've got the flags out for Carl and they'll all be supporting him.
Fantastic. Thank you all very much. And from the Phoenix Boxing Club, we're all looking forward to Saturday.
What a brilliant club that is as well.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, there's buzzing there.
Thriving.
Isn't it? We're all there on Saturday.